Hey guys, coming in for Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 1, Episode 3, Books from Beyond. I was definitely looking forward to this episode. I've really been loving this show. It's probably one of the highlights of the entire TV week for me, and this episode was no exception. It was a lot of fun. There was some really awesome moments in this episode. Sure might not have had as much Deadite killing as the first two episodes did, but I still thought this was a really solid episode. It was very funny. It was a lot of fun, and I still really loved it, honestly. It was still a great episode. But let's just get into this episode. We start off with an awesome introduction. Now, of course, my favorite introduction is still the one from episode 1, just because I thought they did a really great job of introducing us to Ash and who he is in this as a character here. But this introduction I thought was really awesome. We start away from the action with a red sports car speeding down a stretch of rural highway. A woman gets out of the car, and it turns out she's closer to the action than we thought. She's at the former home of Kelly and her family, and it's Ruby, who, of course, all we've seen of Ruby so far is that brief scene with Amanda and then a brief scene from her last week. So we see a lot more of Ruby in this episode, and we start to realize she's probably going to be a much more essential part of the show than we think. Now, we realize that the graves in Kelly's parents were buried and are disturbed because her father is a Deadite now. And Ruby spikes him down on one of the crosses of the grave. She starts flicking the fork in his eye, asking him if Ash and the book were there. And he's not being very cooperative, so she pulls out a knife, clearly a mystical one. She starts to cut his face, and it burns like it's being hit with acid. And that was just such an awesome intro. Ruby is such a badass. But we find out so much in this scene. How does she know Kelly? How does she know Ash? I mean, they clearly don't know her, but she knows about them. So is she following them? What does she know about them? I mean, clearly she is very knowledgeable when it comes to Ash and Kelly, and they've never even heard of her. So, very interesting stuff. Definitely looking forward to seeing what her connection is, but it really set up for, I think, a very interesting subplot. I'm looking forward to see what happens with her character. So Ash, Pablo, and Kelly pull up two books from Beyond, and I was surprised how quickly we got here. I mean, I thought we were going to spend a couple episodes, but no, we finally got to books from Beyond, which is good because we need to get the plot rolling. I understand that. And Ash pulled the book out for a moment. The sky started to get darker, and basically he tells them this story about the last time he visited the guy that worked there. He went there a couple years ago, and he talks about how there was this girl that he had sex with. I mean, it was just a very funny scene. And Pablo suggested the team should be called Ghost Beaters, and they obviously that's a ridiculous name. They get made fun of a lot. Obviously gets made fun of by the other two, which is really funny. But then there was, and this scene was already great, but then there was the line about churros, which might be the funniest line the show has given us. Basically Ash says that they're gonna stop for churros, and he's sorry, and they're gonna go for churros, and Pablo's like, I'm not Mexican, right? And I thought that was just so great. The fact that Ash's like, I'm sorry, and then he's like, oh, well, we'll get him anyway. I thought that was just such a funny scene. I loved it. Little moments like that, that's why I love this show. Ash then goes into the store. It's full of scary looking oculate-y things, and the guy he hopes can translate the book comes out of the back followed by Amanda. So she thanks him for his assistance and leaves. Ash then takes, and Amanda's there too. Ash takes the book out, and we meet the character Mr. Hawkins, who, of course, we were wondering who the guy who had the book before, and that guy is this guy, Mr. Hawkins. He is the proprietor of the store. He takes a close look, and outside, Amanda asks for a sketch of the trailer park murderer, and she pretty much thinks that Ash is the one that's committing all these murders, which is very interesting. And those two plots do finally come together in this episode, which I was happy about. So back inside, Lionel is amazed that the book really exists, and Ash tells him to find the undo spell. And as soon as Hawkins opens it, everything starts to shake, and I thought that was really awesome. So then we jump cuts and shows Ruby speeding up as if she sensed it somehow. Something is coming through the forest. Now, what's coming through the forest, we don't know, but that was really cool. So back in the car, Kelly and Pablo have a little chat here, and this was definitely a very interesting scene. She says that he and the whole bad situation, the little brother she never had, and he's not thrilled with that assessment, obviously, because he likes her, but I like that these two are starting to bond. Although Kelly sees him as a brother, he definitely sees her as a lot more than that. He clearly likes her, and they see Amanda grab her gun out of the car. She goes in, holds the gun to Ash's head, and she says that she's Detective Fisher State Police, and Pablo knocks her out with a large bone, which I thought was pretty funny. So Ash uses her own cuffs on her to lock her to the staircase. Kelly stays to watch her while Ash, Pablo, and Hawkins go to look at the book. Now, Hawkins said the book is at an actual gateway to hell and explained the book in this really cool animated sequence. It's actually really cool the way they did it. He talked about the Dark Ones created this book as a weapon against humans, And by the way, this is how you make exposition interesting. Like, I knew there was going to be a lot of exposition here, but they really made it interesting. The passage contains the power to connect portals between our world and the deep world where evil resides. The book is harmless unless wielded by someone very evil or very stupid. And of course, Ash is very stupid, and I thought that was definitely very funny. So Ash asked again about a reversal, and he was told that the annulment resides inside the origin of the man, so it sounds like there's something inside Ash that can stop it. And Pablo jokingly says that they should just summon the answer, but Ash actually thinks that's brilliant. He wants to find the weakest demon in the book and summon it to ask how it will stop and ask it how to stop everything. And obviously, that is a horrible plan. I love how Ash, the rest of the episode, basically blames this whole thing on Pablo when Pablo was just joking around. I mean, that just shows how dumb Ash can be, but I love that. I think it's hilarious. So, Amanda and Kelly have a bit of a heart to heart. You know, Kelly talks about how she doesn't trust Amanda, but Amanda says that she shouldn't trust Ash, and this is very interesting because now Kelly might have some doubts about trusting Ash. I think it definitely was very interesting, these scenes between Kelly and Amanda. So Hawkins makes a demon catching circle. Pablo's not having any of this because obviously he didn't agree to this. He was joking about it, but Ash clearly did not see that. Ash continues to try to convince him it's fine. It's like spilling paint on a painting. There's already paint on it, so it's fine. A minor demon that possesses knowledge of Mindscape is who they've chosen to bring into the human realm. Hawkins starts a summoning spell. Everything in the shop starts moving around again, and obviously this is not going to be good. Amanda and Kelly continue to chat, or rather, Amanda's talking. They figure out that they both have seen people turn into monsters, and the bonding between them is quite interesting here. Kelly talks about how the guy that she's trying to pin it on could have left her alone to die, and he didn't. So she's trying to tell him to trust Ash because Ash is actually someone that cares. Ash clearly does want to help them, while Amanda really doesn't trust him, which I think is interesting. So Hawkins continues the summoning, and now we're in full-on earthquake mode. Outside, we see something moving through the forest again. Wind is picking up in the shop, and now a full storm outside. And inside, floorboards start to creak, very much like an Evil Dead scene, very much like that, which obviously this is Evil Dead, but that definitely felt like a classic Evil Dead scene. Amanda begs Kelly to let her free so she can help, and the spell is complete, and something starts to emerge from the circle, which now looks like a ghastly portal, and it's all smoke, and this horrifying, faceless demon emerges, and it's like, why have you summoned me, Ashley? And Ash asks the demon how to put everything back, and it says, release me and I'll tell you. And Ash is like, you know what, I don't think this was a very executed plan, Pablo. I thought that was pretty funny. So, all the demon says is to die quickly. Obviously, we knew this would not go well. I mean, it sounded like a stupid plan from the start. What did Ash really think was going to happen here? It obviously was not going to go well. Amanda comes in, shoot at Ash, that makes him move and brace the circle, which I like the way she actually helped him. It holds Ash in a sort of telekinetic bind and starts to attack him from inside his brain, while we see that we see that Hawkins, the bookkeeper, tries to send it back. Amanda shoots at it, teleports out of the way. It's going all over the place in the room, dodging Ash's shots easily. The demon kills Lionel with some telekinetic shards of glass and starts attacking Ash again. Pablo runs at it, shoots in the head. It looks like it's connected, but also teleport away. It attacks both of them. Now Kelly goes and grabs a book, and she says, go back to hell. And she says with a swing in the book, it looks like the mouth on the front of the book basically ate the demon, sending it back, and it seems like they're okay, which I was happy about. So it seemed like everything worked out well there. I thought that was a very funny scene. I definitely really enjoyed it. Obviously, the plan was stupid, so I like that overall. So Ash starts to talk to Amanda. She cuffs him. So he takes off his hand, and that was so clever. Obviously, she's still gonna cuff him, but he takes off his hand and cuffs her again to the table, which I think was definitely very funny. I really enjoyed that. I mean, obviously, that's why Ash is a badass, because he has that chainsaw hand, which is awesome. So Ash tells Kelly and Pablo that they learned a very important lesson today, that cops don't really help, which is true. Cops don't really know what's going on. Ash does know what's going on, Amanda doesn't, and Amanda's going to get the wrong idea and think that she can't trust Ash, when clearly she should trust Ash because he knows what he's doing, while Amanda doesn't. And Pablo thinks that his uncle, the shaman, can help them, which is interesting. I like the way they're setting that up. And Kelly talks about how, Ash said that they were only his sidekicks, but he says that he's now, that he can do this on his own, but he's now accepting that he needs them because he feels like he could be safer with them, and they drive off. And I thought that was a great way to basically start what they're going to be doing, which is taking down these Deadites. It's, you really see that they work very well together. And you really saw that in this scene with Pablo and Kelly. Pablo shot the demon in the head. Kelly grabbed the book and summoned it back. I mean, they all work together, and I definitely really like that. But then the ending of this episode is very interesting because Amanda's still cuffed inside, and obviously she's really pissed off because it didn't go well. And they hear something moving around in there, and it's Lionel. Lionel is now a Deadite, and that's the end of the episode. Now, obviously, they're not going to kill off Amanda. I know they're not going to do that. That'd be really stupid if they did, and I don't think they're going to kill her off. I mean, there's no way they're going to kill her off. But now that Lionel is with her, what is going to happen to Amanda? She's obviously not safe. They're going to have to rescue her. I feel like Kelly is going to try to rescue her because they bonded very well. Obviously, Ash doesn't trust her, which is interesting. But that I think is definitely gonna be very interesting to see what happens with that. Now, summoning Pablo. Now, Pablo's uncle. What is gonna happen with this? We know that Pablo's uncle obviously is a witch doctor. So, is he gonna be able to help them? We'll have to see. Obviously, they thought that Lionel could help, but now he's possessed. Now he's a deadite. So we'll have to see what happens with that. That's gonna be interesting. But like I said, I really like the ensemble of Ash, Kelly, and Pablo. They're really working very well together, especially in this episode. They had some really fun lines. What's going on with Ruby? Let's talk about Ruby here. What connection does Ruby have to Ash and Kelly? Clearly, she knows about them. She knows what they're doing. How does she know them? I don't know, but I guess we're gonna find out in, the next episode why she is following them, what connection she has to them. That's gonna be very interesting to see what's going on there. But overall, guys, I really love this episode. Thought this was another really fun episode. I'm really loving this show overall. Just a really, really fun episode. Again, this isn't a show you can say too much about, after the episode, but let me know what you guys saw this episode. I thought this was a lot of fun, definitely. Also, I love the animation sequence where he was explaining the book and everything. We pretty much know everything we need to know now. We know how, we know who gave Ash the book. We know that the book is not good, obviously. We know that, you should not listen to Ash's plans. It's just not a good idea. Um, that Ash doesn't understand that Pablo was joking. There were just some really fun moments in this episode. I really loved it. Let me know what you guys saw this episode. I will see you guys and next week's episode looks awesome, by the way. I can't wait for it. Looks like they're going to have, Pablo's father help them out with this, which is going to be interesting to see. That's my review. Hope you all enjoy it. We'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for Flesh and Bone, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.